What if I told you that your social media presence and your social media posts are actually what is costing you leads, is making you lose trust, and is making you just overall lose business on your real estate? In this video, I will name 9 things that realtors should stop doing on social media and what they need to start doing instead, especially moving into 2026. Now, this first one, I'm sure many of you has probably seen, and is one of those ones, and you are probably even guilty of it, where you have basically taken the social aspect out of social media. And what I'm talking about is basically this, where you're only posting listings and your whole entire feed is just basically looks like an MLS. It looks like Zillow. It looks like another listing platform. There is zero personality, zero expertise shown, zero behind the scenes, none of that stuff. And it's just pure listings. Now, those kinds of profiles, you need to just stop doing that. And the point of social media is to be social, is to engage, is to have conversations, start up conversations and stuff. It's not a billboard. Social media is not a billboard. Social media is not a place that is an MLS that you can just post listings and that is it. Social media is meant to be social. So if you're playing the posting only listings game, you are playing a losing game. So you might be asking, what am I going to post instead of just listings? Then I don't really have a lot of interesting things in my life and stuff like that. And that is where you probably have not heard of this if you are asking that, which is right here, content pillars. If you've not heard of content pillars, they are basically buckets or pillars of content that you will stick through and will stick about posting. So listings, if you are posting only listings can be one of it. If you can also include things like personal stories, case studies, testimonials, behind the scenes, different things like that, market updates, a very good one too. So those are just like content pillars, and you basically want to pick between 2 to maybe 4 content pillars maximum that you want to be posting every single time on social media when you are trying to post on social media. So if you are only doing listings, you are only in one bucket, which is already a failing game that many people don't really resonate with and doesn't spark that social aspect. But if you are posting other things like market updates that can have some discussions, if you are posting other things like testimonials, that is great, or case studies, that is also great. That can spark more trust, that can help you build trust with the people that you're trying to target. If you are doing things like behind the scenes, or you are basically completely educational, doing it educational too as part of a bucket. If you're also doing educational as part of your bucket, that is also another great thing that you can have within your content pillars that people can resonate with and can actually engage with. Now, this second one is one that many people try to avoid many times over and over and over again, because really it is nerve-wracking when you think about it, and it's something that can follow people from, and sometimes it's something that people just think that other people are just born with and don't really have time for. And what I'm talking about is hiding your face. If you are a realtor that you only have maybe a professional picture of yourself, or nowadays just an AI generated picture of yourself in a professional environment, and that is the only entire thing that you have on your social media page that shows your face, that shows your expressions and all that stuff, you are still playing a losing game, and you need to stop doing that. And obviously the fix to this is basically just show your face more. While I get that sometimes it can be nerve-wracking to put yourself out on social media, especially if maybe English might not be your first language, or then maybe you are just not comfortable speaking properly in a public online setting, that is completely fine. And I'll tell you how to fix that in 30 seconds now. What you're going to do is you're going to grab your phone, and every single day for the next 60 days, you're going to record a video every single day. I'm not kidding. And the videos you're going to record are going to be the videos that if you were to do a TED Talk, how would you do a TED Talk within 2 minutes? And in 2 minutes, you're going to speak about one specific topic that you can talk about in a TED Talk for so long, for whatever it is. It can be basketball, it can be sports, or it can be real estate, preferably real estate. Speak to the camera for 2 minutes. You're not allowed to stop recording. All of it is only going to be one take each. And trust me, by the end of this exercise, you will have lots of bad footage that you can just throw away and delete later on. But what you're going to do before you hit that delete button, you're going to go back and watch all of those videos and notice the things that you are saying. Notice how you are just messing up your delivery, your tone, your pitch, your vocabulary, and all of it. Note that down and know what you need to do next. Now, the third one, some people do it, some people don't, but the people who do it, it's so obvious and it's not the best thing to do. And the other people who don't do it, they're on a different spectrum. They're actually on the very opposite spectrum of it, which is basically long, boring captions. If you are posting a listing and you've just basically copy and pasted everything from the MLS onto your social media captions, and you've just added a little thing here and there, please stop doing that. Okay, that is not the right way to do it. Or if you are posting a client testimonial, or you're posting something about your expertise or something educational or something like that, and you have a long caption that is just really boring, then you need to stop. You have two ways to fix this. First, you can cut back on your captions and make it extremely short, especially with AI nowadays, that would help you make it short, but that doesn't stop it from making it boring. So how do you stop making it boring? How do you have an interesting caption, at least, that people can read? And that is by using frameworks. Just have a framework. You need to have a hook, 2 to 3 bullet points, and a call to action. We can dive more deeper into like these kinds of frameworks, which, by the way, I have tons of frameworks that can help you in your post captions and all that stuff that you can break down, and you can easily just copy and paste, but I don't really encourage you copy and pasting. Those frameworks that I have as a resource that you can use are for you to understand and break down exactly why certain things are structured in certain ways, and especially for different kinds of approaches that you might want to approach for different social media posts. Then you might want to take inspiration from that and how you can structure your post to make it even more interesting than how it would have already been. So if you want that resource, the link would be in the description. But before you go to download the resource, which is completely free, by the way, just wait until you hear number 5, because number 5 actually ties into those frameworks. Now, number 4 is kind of a weird one because I kind of understand it to an extent, but at the same time, there really is no excuse nowadays in this day and age for you to still be doing number 4, which is very simple, as using way too many stock photos, way too many stock videos. And I did have a note down here that this could actually be a lead blocker, because what does it show? It shows laziness, that you don't have content for yourself. You might come across as the person that wants to cut corners instead of actually putting in the work. So this, for a lead or a potential lead or a client, can really turn them off. So obviously the fix to this is just to film your own content. Film your own content, make your own media, have your own photos, have your own videos, regardless of what it is. Now, I know that especially for listings and some listings, and so it's much easier because you have your own content and the listing is the content itself. But outside of that, you do need to have your own content. And I know some people are like, I can just grab a stock video, I can just grab a stock photo and just use that for a post. And that is completely fine. But when you use too many of it, which I have seen, it really turns the people off. And it really just comes across that you are just basically lazy. You're just lazy corporate person that just doesn't want to put in the work to make their own content and film their own stuff. Now on to number 5, which is one that completely diminishes trust. Any trust that you've built in the past before, and if you keep doing number 5, you will lose that trust very, very quickly. And lots of people nowadays already, actually it's been a couple of years, but it's also a very big turnoff when it comes to you trying to build trust and you trying to make a sale, or you trying to do stuff, which is just too many sales pitches. And I see this time and time over again, where a lot of realtors are just mainly posting on social media like a billboard. Again, social media is meant to be social, is not a billboard where you can just post advertisements and post just everything about yourself and what you can do, or it's just basically sales pitches that, hey, if you are in this environment here, give me a call, email me, get this, and blah blah blah. And it's just all about I'm receiving, I'm taking, but you're not giving. There is nothing given in your entire social media profile, which is a mistake that you need to stop doing. So you might be thinking that then the fix to this would be not to do sales pitches, but actually no, still do sales pitches. at the end of the day, you need to have a little jab hook, right? Jab hook is what they say. But you do need to have some sales pitches, because if you're not going to pitch something, you're not going to get the sale of something. But you just need to bring that down. But the fix to this is actually just leading with value in whatever it is that you're trying to do. If you're trying to have a sales pitch to something, lead with value up front. What can they get from whatever you are trying to present first, before what can you receive from them? Just think of it this way, like what's in it for them, right? Now, when it comes to number 6, it kind of ties into what number 4 had, but just takes it to a better level, a much higher level, which is having poor or amateur visuals. Now, if you don't have a high quality camera or whatever stuff like that, and you maybe have shaky footage and grainy footage and all of that, you might want to stick to using stock footage for the meantime. I'm sure that 99% of you guys have fantastic cameras in your pockets. Your phone, you have fantastic cameras on your phone, be it an iPhone, be it an Android, whatever it is, they have fantastic cameras on there that you can use and make things just much more clearer and not making it look so amateur. Although magically still, somehow some people still mess things up and still make things look amateur, which is in terms of the visuals, and have lots of shakiness and there's lots of movements. Everything just feels like it's like you're about to puke just watching it or so, because even though you're using the best camera, that can still happen. The camera would not save the quality of your video, but a camera definitely can help the quality of your video. So if you are already posting with like grainy footage and really blurry footage and stuff like that, this is where you need to stop doing that. And if you already have if you're doing like amateur stuff and amateur visuals, movements and all of that, and it just looks like a high schooler made the video, you might want to stop. Again, you're a realtor, you're trying to build something that someone would trust you to, especially if they are giving lots of money down for a home or an investment or whatever it is. They need to trust you for that. And if you have poor amateur visuals, it's very hard for someone to cross that line to trust you. So what's the fix for this? Obviously the fix for this is just have high quality visuals. And I said, you have phones, you have fantastic phones nowadays, iPhone, Android, whatever it is. There are great cameras on those that you can use. If you already have an external camera or a DSLR or a full frame camera, whatever it is, then even better. You have even better quality that you can help. Obviously, like I said, the camera would not automatically make you a professional and make you do video like an actual professional would, but it definitely would help and take it that step away from looking like an amateur or like a high schooler just made it using Microsoft Paint. There's a very simple fix to this next one, but it's something that when it's done over and over and over again, or even just for once or twice or so, it actually adds friction to someone trying to trust you or convince you or convert. It actually hurts your conversions basically. And there's a very simple and easy fix to it, and I'm going to tell you in a bit. But what am I talking about? I'm talking about selling features. If you are out here just constantly talking about the features of a listing or talking about the features of even working with you, then it's so much harder for someone to convert, because they are just paying attention to the features rather than, here's the fix for it here, sell the lifestyle, sell the benefits, sell the outcomes. Those are the ways that you can go about if you're trying to sell a feature or sell something. If you're selling a listing, sell the lifestyle or sell the outcome or sell the benefits of something or whatever it is that listing has, rather than trying to sell the features of 4-bed and all of that stuff, 4-bed, 3-bath, laminate flooring and all of that stuff. No one really cares about that on social media. If they want that information, they can contact you about that information, or they can go on the MLS and find that information out. But what you need to do is spark that interest in them. You need to convert them in a way that is like, okay, this is something that I can see myself in or doing in that listing, which is where you need to sell that. You need to sell the lifestyle, you need to sell the outcome of whatever it is, or you need to sell the actual benefits of whatever that feature is, rather than focusing on what the feature actually is. I know that there are people out there who care about that, and obviously everyone probably does care about the features because they're buying a home or buying an investment or whatever it is, or selling something, right? And everyone cares about the features of whatever it is that they're trying to buy. But if they can't really connect to what that feature does for them, they're not going to convert. So what you need to do, as I said, is on social media, you need to focus on the lifestyle, you need to focus on the lifestyle and the benefits. And if they need more information on the features and stuff, once they have been sold on that, now they can contact you for more of what these features are and all of that stuff like that, which is just fantastic. Now, before we go into the next one, I want to just talk really quick about these last two ones. These last two ones can look very complicated, can seem very complicated, especially nowadays where there's so many gurus and all of that mentioning all these things, and they have just overcomplicated the process of what these two things are. And I'm here to tell you that it's much, much easier than what you think, especially nowadays, again, with AI. AI just makes things much, much easier trying to tackle these two things. But let's go over what this first one is. This first of the last one is, which is ignoring analytics. Now, if you are serious about social media, you're serious about using social media to grow your business, you need to start looking at your analytics. If you're using Facebook, you're using Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever it is, you need to go into analytics and you need to look and see what the data is telling you. The data is what's going to inform how your approach is doing or what your current strategy is currently trajectorying towards, which is something that you need to be paying attention to. And a lot of gurus and all of that would complicate this saying you need to look at this value divided by this, multiplied by this, and you get this, which you don't need to. You need to only pay attention to the things that are directly tied into the current goal or what you're trying to do. If you are mainly right now in using your social media to mainly just garner a lot of attention, a lot of awareness, or I'll not really say attention, I'll say awareness, a lot of awareness for your brand. Let's say your brand is in a pretty good spot to start scaling and you want to start getting all that awareness for your brand now, then the analytics or the data that you'll be looking at will be a lot different than someone who maybe is starting out and they are trying to basically get to increase their bottom line for something else or whatever, but their goal is to increase their bottom line by the end of the quarter or something like that. Their goal or their data that they'll be looking at will be a lot more different than this other person. And you really don't want to complicate things when it comes to that. These social media analytics, they are good. They have lots of data there to tell you and inform you what is working and what's not working. So obviously the fix for this is just to look at the data, analyze the data, see what's working, see what's not working, see what can be improved, because there are certain things that you just don't want to just toss away because it didn't work. It can't be improved, maybe a little tweak here and there, then it will get better. But if you are ignoring your analytics, then you are doing a bad thing. Now, for this last one, is something that I preach a lot every single time. And me as a digital marketer, a filmmaker, storyteller, whatever it is really at the core of everything that I do, in not just in my career, but also in my own personal life. And this last one is very simple as no storytelling. If you are not having any stories, you are not implementing stories into your videos, into your photos, or your social media posts, whatever it is, you need to start implementing stories now. Now, again, as I mentioned, lots of gurus out there will complicate this process or complicate storytelling just to make it seem like they have basically turned into a different dimension of storytelling, and it's like, wow, and no one ever on this planet has ever thought of this. But no, storytelling is very much simpler than this. It's much, much more simpler than this. There are many frameworks out there that you can follow for different stories, because there's no one story. There's no one story fits all. There's no one framework that fits all. That's the beauty about storytelling. There's many different frameworks, but there's the core frameworks and core elements within a story that needs to be present for that story to be interesting. And I did have a note here that says this kills growth. And yes, this really does kill growth. If you are looking to start growing, stories are the best ways for people to connect with you very easily and very seamlessly if you're able to implement stories. Now, obviously the fix for this is to just tell more stories and tell better stories. Not all stories are told the same, and I know some people who have tried telling a story. Let's say you have a testimonial and you're telling a story about this client that you have and how they have gotten the house thanks to you. Yeah, that is a very good start. That's a very good start to storytelling. But can you make it better? hell yes, you can make it better. So now you know all the 9 things that you need to stop doing if you are doing it already on social media, or the 9 things that you need to just stay away from doing if you are starting to do your social media. If there's any of these things that you want me to dive even further into, I can. Some of these things I already have lots of resources already, and I'll put them in the description below that can help you. For example, storytelling frameworks. I do have tons of storytelling frameworks that you can use. And if you want me to dive in further in a video into any one of these mistakes here, any one of these things, let me know down in the comments, and I will make a dedicated video to that one thing on how you can absolutely nail it and just take things to the next level with what you're trying to do.